Yes. Yep.
As you're an entrepreneur, during the establishment of your business, did you encounter much failures?
Say again the question.
During your establishment of your business,
Yep.
did you encounter much failures?
Failures. Yeah, definitely. I had a very big failure early on. I didn't have time to tell it, but it's a really interesting story because it's about doing the right thing. And when I started, as I mentioned to you, selling, fixing car radios and fixing taxi cab radios, I went in to buy all these components and it's got bad service. So I started the Dick Smith Electronics as you would have known it. That's only closed down a few years ago. And I sold the bits and pieces that go to enthusiasts and hobbyists. And the business went really well for about 8 months. And then suddenly my manager resigned and his offsider resigned. And within 5 weeks, I was so dumb, I couldn't work out why we didn't have enough stock of that. And we finally found out that the manager had stolen $18,000 worth of goods. And he had stolen it by coming in at night. And what happened, all these envelopes came in with invoices for the goods. And he knew that the companies wouldn't send the invoice for 5 weeks. So he'd stolen all the stuff. And $18,000 stolen, immediately went to the police. They said, oh, this person has form, but they got a search warrant. And he had all my components, but he said he'd bought them at an auction house. We couldn't prove they were mine. Now, I had this $18,000 loss. I'd only started the business with $15,000 and the business couldn't pay back the debt. And my advisor, my accountant said, Dick, you should liquidate the business. Does anyone know what liquidate means? Because I didn't know what it meant. Well, you just sell off the stock and close it down. And I said, but what about the money I owe? And they said, bad luck to the people. It's a Dick Smith and Wholesale Proprietary Limited. They've lost their money. They took a risk in giving you credit. Oh, I didn't like the idea of that. And then he saw me. He said, what's wrong with that? He said, this happens in business all the time. You've had the stuff stolen. Then he said, look, there's another suggestion I've got. You can appoint a receiver. A receiver is a firm of accountants. Have you heard of this, a receiver? Anyway, it's a type of accountancy thing that happens today. And they will let you run the business. No one will be able to get the money from you until you can get it to be profitable again. I thought, that's what I'll do. And I thought, what I will do is I will pay that money back, the whole $18,000, and then I'll close this electronic components business down as a great lesson. I'll stick to my car radios and two-way radios. Now, guess what happened? That business selling the components, I really put the hard work into it, made so much money, it was the business I kept, paid all the debt back. It was the business I sold for over $20 million to Woolworths. And I was 37 years of age. And so there's a lesson in that, isn't there? If I'd taken the advice of the accountant and closed it down, being a tough businessman, I never would have been successful. And so I think that's a very important message there about doing the right thing. And it allowed me to be successful. And also I felt okay because I was paying back the debt. In the end, when I paid all the debt back, I realised this is the business that's going to do really well, and I closed down the car radio and the two-way radio business. So interesting story. Yep.